r/AskReddit. What are some of the best choices you've made in your life? Stopped doing hard drugs. Finished treatment for Hep C. Cured. Going back to school for what I love, architecture. Just bought a car and have held down a job for the past year. Getting sober. Absolutely the best decision ever. Never knew life could be this good. Going back to high school. I'm almost done. Only 14 years late. Worth it. Having a full hysterectomy due to endometriosis and adenomyosis, so that I could be healthier for my daughter while her dad battles a very rare form of cancer. We are no longer together, but are best friends and company parent very well. Noticing the guy crying hysterically on the 3rd floor at my old college. Saw him begin motioning to climb over the ledge, so I ran up those flights of stairs so fast. Caught him just before he jumped and pulled him back over the railing. Well, I'm heading back to college in the fall to study something different. I just beat cancer and have been feeling bored with the work I do lately. So I want to study something else and make a change. It's exciting and I'm feeling really positive lately. Breaking up with the emotionally manipulative girlfriend. I think we're all in that situation with a partner at some point or other, and finally taking the step to get away from them and realize you don't need them is a big part of emotional maturity. I quit drinking soda as a sophomore in HS. To make a long story short, it was an awkward and sad time in my life. I had a horrible diet and was very scrawny and pale. I would get home from school and just game and drink a ton of soda. I looked ill and was bullied by my own friends that I would hang out with daily. They didn't believe I could give it up. But I did. My skin got clearer. My life got happier. And I began to excel in track. Now I'm fit and they're overweight. Funny how that works. There are a ton of details I'm leaving out. But I would never be who I am today if I never gave it up. It was less of just soda and more of the bad habits lifestyle that came with how much I consumed. TLDR, gave up soda and shitty lifestyle choices. Became the person I always dreamt of being. Edit. Thanks for the responses, everyone. It brings a smile to my face hearing similar stories and asking further questions. I wish you all the best. Stop stressing about school and grades so much. My whole life I felt like it's been a swirl of A, B, C, D, F and GPA. When I realized I wanted something else after school, my entire outlook and motivation to exist changed. Late edit. I understand reasons that people have to stress about grades such as a competitive major, graduate school or scholarships. I should have emphasized being disillusioned with a chosen major and the pressure of having to decide your life's career so young. Got off my prescription anxiety medication, first Valium, then Klonopin, which I was on between 10th grade to my freshman year of college. I got hooked on the shits. Started abusing them to get high. Experimented with other prescriptions. Stole prescriptions. Stole money from my family. I was a major scumbag, to be honest. But after drugs lead me to dropping out of college, I decided that was it. All they did was make me tired and lazy. And I turned into such a bad person. But upon getting off them, with the help of my psychiatrist, I started a regular gym routine. Got my first job. Enrolled in EMS classes and got back to community college. Now I'm a nursing student with a job in EMS. And I look and feel better than I ever have before in my life. I have no regrets and I feel fortunate that I got to get my life back on the road it was meant to be on, because I know a lot of other people have not. Edit. Thank you for the gold, friend. First gold ever, and I'm happy it's on a post like this. Finally getting onto antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication. Legit a night and day difference after several months and changing of dosage. Therapy was helpful, but mine was bad enough to merit medicine and I'll never go back. Moving alone to a city at 21, grew up in a town of 1,300, with almost zero money in the bank for a job slightly above minimum wage as a data entry clerk on a 6-month contract. Worked my ass off for that 6 months, as I had no backup plan, and got hired full time. I distinctly remember one night 1-2 years later looking around at my now fully furnished apartment with a meal made by my then girlfriend and realized everything I saw I earned. Fast forward 9 years later and I've worked my way up the corporate ladder, and my fiancé and I will be putting an offer on our dream home tomorrow night. It's really hard to feel how much you progress in life until you look back at where you were. The small day-to-day progress really adds up. Moving 2,000 miles away. By myself. Marrying my wife. Along with being a loving, hilarious, gorgeous geek. She had the emotional intelligence to help me go to therapy and get past decades of baggage from my family. Because she had done the same to get through her childhood issues. I love seeing how she is as a mother to our 2 kids. I'm so glad they'll never have reason to fear their mother like I did. When I was in kindergarten, if you did stuff well and didn't get in trouble, you earned points that you could buy a reward with. I saved mine up for a long time to get a mini gumball machine. But when I finally went to get it, I made a split-second decision to buy a glass rose. That was another one of the prizes because I was about to visit my grandma and I wanted to give her something. Now every time I visit my grandma for years, I get a little warm feeling seeing that rose sitting carefully in her living room above the fireplace. Being patient and listening before I respond to issues. To move to Ireland. Yeah. Immigration is not for everyone. But it helped me build a life for myself. Probably my decision to go talk to a therapist about my stress issues. Losing weight. Skin got better. Easier to find clothes. Better social interactions. Lesser judgmental comments. Cutting out the toxic people from my life. Recently, it was choosing the professor that I did to be my mentor, or however you call it in English, for my bachelor's thesis. I am fairly certain I managed to complete it on time solely based on this one professor, who both motivated me, wrote to me and regularly asked how it's going, and also gave suggestions on books and a lot of other help. I know some of my classmates who didn't make it, and unsurprisingly they had mentors who pretty much gave no help and left them on their own. My husband took a tab of LSD. Ended up having a terrible night and dissecting everything I hated about myself. Quit my job and immediately went back to school. Maintained a 4.0 which allowed me to get scholarships, grants, aid. And within a year I'll be done. Already worked a few seasons in my field and have a job lined up. Ready to hit the ground and crush life. Thanks LSD. Your mileage may vary on that one though. I can't help but feel like I just got extremely lucky. Solving problems with witty humor rather than my fists. Applying for a call center job on Craigslist. Stay with me, folks. So I got this job in 2013 and within 1 year moved up the ranks all the way to supervisor. The company has a remote worker option but they wouldn't let me. Because they needed me too much in the call center to supervise. So I decided it's time to move. And forced their hand. Then I became the first remote supervisor ever. And pretty much pioneered the processes for monitoring people remotely. I am now happily working for a mediocre wage. From home. Working from home was the dream. And I was able to make it happen. Going minimalist with my possessions. It's just simplified a lot of things in my life and given me focus. On a lark. Joining speech and debate while in college. I was really lacking in self-confidence and dealing with a lot of trauma when I first arrived. I went to university just to get away from the mess of some family issues going on. I didn't have a clear vision of where I was going or why. Joining the team helped me in unexpected ways. Having something constructive to do that allowed me to meet good people, gain confidence and presentation skills, and travel around was exactly the experience didn't know I needed. I'm grateful we didn't have to try out for the team because I didn't have any particular talent or charisma for speaking. It was a matter of if you're willing to put in the work and keep your grades up, you can be on the team. Having your ideas valued, learning new things, and talking to different people across the nation about their perspectives was intrinsically motivating. I became a much better student because of that, and also arguably a better person. Quitting smoking. I smoked for 9 years and quit 2.5 months ago. One of my favorite things I can do now is run. As a smoker I could never run for more than 2 minutes without dying. Now I proudly have a 7-minute mile. I wish I could go back in time and undo all the damage smoking did to me. but all I can do is push forward from here and be glad I don't smoke. Screw cigarettes. I had a rule. Don't flirt if there is no possibility of a relationship. My thinking was if this go badly you're just embarrassing yourself. And if things go well you're just setting up for disappointment. While at my college roommate's wedding I broke that rule to flirt with the maid of honor. Even though she lived 3 time zones away. Yeah. We're married now. Still waiting to make one. I'm 34. Edit. Holy crap y'all. This one comment has more than double the karma I had before posting it. Couple of things to point out. My wife has a doctorate and that's how she has maxed out her student loans for life. I so appreciate the support and I am taking the advice given to heart and really putting something together. Edit 2. I guess my best decision I have ever made was this post. I have never in my life seen so much support and kind words. BTW. For everyone that says I should return my pot. I love that damn pot, I can't give it back. Thank you so much everyone. This shows me that there is hope that something somewhere sometime will be life changing and I think the support shown here proves that is possible just by taking a chance. When I stopped self-harming, I don't know what compelled me to do it. But I just realized one day that it wasn't something I should keep doing. It took a while. And I am still fighting the urge to do it every day. But I am so glad I stopped. If anyone here ever needs to talk I'm here. I quit Facebook long time ago. Even though all my family and friends are still there and updating regularly. Signed up for Facebook in 2005 when you were required to have a .edu email address. Went through the lengthy process of closing my account in 2015 and have enjoyed all my extra free time since. Which I now use to Reddit. My ex-girlfriend got hooked on heroin so I broke it off. 1. I slipped a Narcan into her bag before she walked out the door. 2. Later that week. I heard she tried to purposely OD. Someone found the Narcan and brought her back. Apparently. She turned her life around after that. Edit. We were together for almost 10 years. For things to have ended like that, it hurts so fucking bad. I heard she sobered up and recently got engaged. Glad I could do her one last solid. Have a nice life. Ape. Broke up with a crazy ex and decided to go study abroad in France for half a year. Backstory. One night I got jumped by a group of people walking back to my house late at night. End up getting pretty roughed up so my buddies take me to the hospital. I called my then girlfriend at the time about what happened and all she said was, oh okay, I'll try to maybe visit you tomorrow then. Well, I was pissed that she didn't seem to care about how I was at all, so I decided to break up with her the next day and told her to not even bother maybe coming to see me. As I was looking in the mirror at my broken nose, 2 black eyes, and a busted tooth, for some reason I said screw it, I'm going to study abroad somewhere to get away from my horrible ex for a while. Ended up studying in France where I traveled all over Europe while meeting a great group of friends I still talk to this day. Living in another country changed my perspective on the world and made me a better person, all because I got jumped and my ex triggering me to do something extreme. Going traveling on my own. Easily the best experience of my life. Though now all I want to do is keep traveling and I don't have the money. This is cliche and cheesy as hell. But who cares? I chose not to try to kill myself again after a failed attempt when I was 19. When I woke up in that hospital bed, surrounded by friends and family, it was the wake-up call I needed. Up to that point, I hadn't realized how my death would affect those around me. I honestly thought I would just fade away, leave no void behind me. Seeing how many people wanted me to recover showed me that my death would hurt more people than I knew. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. But I dragged myself out of that depression without any medical help, having exhausted all the options available to me. And now it's 7 years later. I'm not recovered. And things will probably always be difficult. But I will never try that again. Not now that I know what I'd be leaving behind. Joining the gym and focusing on my form. No ego lifts. Buying a guitar and learning to play. No matter how tough the days get. How lonely it feels to be away from the people you love, or how upsetting it is to not have your love reciprocated. Music helps you find serenity and peace. The learning process can be frustrating at times, but the results are tangible if you keep at it, and the sense of satisfaction is unparalleled. It is an escape from all trivialities, and it's time for you. Deleting all my social media. I don't consider Reddit SM. It's helped a lot with only concentrating my time on people who I care about me. Also, you lose FOMO. LASIK. Got my eyes done 4 years ago. So happy I did. One of the worst periods of my life was when my ex left me out of the blue and hit me with the worst comments about me and my personality. Possibly to distance us more, but I honestly don't know why. In my anger and sadness, I could have told everyone who knew us. All our classmates. His brothers, who had a negative opinion of me. All the shit my ex did and said. All the screenshots where he left comments on my Instagram photos out of anger knowing I got upset. I could have aired our dirty laundry. I could have said hurtful things back like I never loved him or he never made me feel happy. All untrue, of course. I could have slapped him because of the amount of shit I got from him. I held my tongue. Cried my ass out, but I still held my tongue. And I think it's one of the best decisions I've made. That I didn't stoop down to his level. That I didn't hurt him the way he did. I'm a lot more at peace with myself, knowing I didn't hurt someone else in my pain and suffering. Quit drinking. Moving. I had serious addiction issues, and if I had stayed in the area I was, Anaheim, I would probably be dead right now. Place is just a meth infested dirt hole. Moved away. Got clean. And I'm living happily ever after since. My biggest piece of advice to anyone who has addiction issues who is ready to quit is get the hell away from where you are and start over. It sounds super trivial, but keeping a diary, even if it's just to keep track of what you did that day. Our memories can only store so much. Being in touch with your feelings and exactly how you live your life on a day-to-day basis makes a huge difference to your overall well-being. Writing something down not only makes you realize exactly how you feel, but it forces you to accept something rather than repress it. And that's the first step in tackling troubling thoughts. It's done wonders for my mental health and working out what my goals in life are. Hey, do you want to get dinner or something? To my current girlfriend about 4 years ago. I also quit smoking 2 weeks ago. I have been a smoker for 11 years, and although it is still difficult, I don't see myself ever going back. Turning my back on my racist ideals. It's a lot harder than you can imagine. It's never fully healed. Dropping out of college to accept a once-in-a-lifetime job offer. Finally finishing my master's thesis. Vivid procrastination and low motivation caused me to almost fail so many times. After an extra year of work, I am finally done with it and can proudly tell myself that I did it. Quitting a corporate job to go to college at 26. All I could think was, shit, I'll be 30 when I finish. Then I realized you're gonna be 30 anyway. I'm 54 now and happy for the choice I made half a lifetime ago. Said no to marriage. While I understand marriage is a great thing, at that point in time it really wasn't the best thing for me. Called it off and decided to invest time in myself. Now I feel happier and I'm more confident I can take on the responsibilities that marriage brings. Start dancing. Boosted my self-esteem a bunch, plus I got to meet a lot of nice people. LASIK. Living with terrible vision was solved within 10 minutes. Life-changing moment and my greatest decision of my life. Pursuing a career that I enjoy over one that pays a lot. Walking out of an easy job. Paid the bills with minimal effort, but I knew I was capable of more. Knew if I waited to job hunt and get interviews, I'd just keep putting it off. If I quit, I had to do something. Went to lunch. Didn't go back. 2 years later, I've doubled my income at a job just as easy, except I actually feel like I have a chance of getting ahead now. The girl I married and whose companionship I enjoyed for 57 years. The love of my life. This will likely be buried and never seen. As a paramedic living in a remote community in northern Canada, getting a black lab as a companion was my best decision. Howard is 2.5 years now and is the best thing to come home to after a bad call. Helps me through a lot. Spending $100 on a cheap MIDI keyboard. Went from a lazy teenager who didn't know what he wanted to do with his life to a teenager with a new passion and the goal of a career in music. Edit. Since people have been asking, my SoundCloud is soundcloud.com young clearance, D. Though this is going to be controversial, I think the best choice I've made is that I've grown cold. I grew up in a very toxic environment and was always either crying or miserable. I started to cut off my emotions, getting cold and relying on my friends for the closeness I yearn for. Without doubt, it has made my life so much easier and peaceful. Clarification. When I say colder, I mean something more along the lines of shut off feeling towards certain people. I sort of became an onion, having layers of personalities in a way, displaying certain personalities to different people. I don't know a good way to describe it. Not committing suicide and going to talk to therapists and taking meds. Edit. Not following through wasn't my choice, but I'm still here and haven't been planning nor really thinking of suicide. Second edit. It really wasn't an option for me to not talk to anyone. The cops dropped me off at the hospital where I spent 24 hours in a secure room, then got transferred to the proper psych hospital. Under section 1 of the Mental Health Act I could have been held for 30 days. So I talked. Finally got a proper diagnosis for myself instead of just knowing I was depressed. Hypervigilant narcissism disorder. Borderline personality disorder and dependent personality disorder. I'm starting to see the patterns of thought that arise from and feed off of each disorder. Good times. Builds character. TLDR. Was planning suicide for Saturday the 19th of May. I'm currently alive. Joining the army and sticking with it. Briefly considered aborting when my wife, now ex-wife, and I found out she was pregnant. Decided against it and now I'm a dad to the most amazing little girl. Ex fucked up majorly on multiple occasions. I was scared to leave her for my daughter's sake. Eventually went through with it and came out the other side with no monetary obligations and full custody. Plus, I didn't realize how much being in an abusive relationship had affected my daughter and me. We're both much better now. Got a tattoo. Love it. Getting more soon. Finally quitting drinking drugs 7+ years ago and staying sober. Finally got out of restaurant bar industry. Went back to grad school and began a much more gratifying career. Finally got into a long-term healthy relationship with great communication. No longer evolving my days nights around acquiring booze drugs. Being able to feel all the feelings and not just trying to make myself as numb and oblivious as possible. Finding real joy in life without having to be under the influence 24/7. Waking up every morning with no regrets, no hangovers. Feeling more physically and mentally healthy than I ever imagined could be possible. It's definitely not always easy staying sober, but it is so worth it. Switched majors. I no longer wish to kill myself. Long ago and far away, after agreeing with my partner that it would be best for us to terminate her unexpected pregnancy, I changed my mind and chose not to. That night I lay awake, wrestling with our decision and its implications, projecting the what ifs and the maybes into the future as far as I could. Finally, I realized two things with absolute certainty. That I loved my partner with all my heart and that the plan we'd set our minds to before going to bed would slowly erode our relationship until it was no more. In the morning, when she woke up, I kissed her gently, told her that I loved her deeply, wanted to have the baby, and asked her to marry me. Here, decades later, having raised and loved the beautiful daughter that was that baby, it was, and remains, the single best choice I've ever made in my entire life. I went to college for elementary education. Taught 5th grade for a year right out of college. But it didn't make me happy like I thought it would. Got out of it after the first year. It's not fair to the kids to be in that profession if your heart isn't in it. I manage partly own a craft beer bar now. Much happier. Leaving an abusive relationship even though I love them very much. Sometimes you have to put yourself first. Getting a dog. My kids. They've saved my life multiple times and they keep me going. Adopting my cats when I saw them starving on the streets. Coming out of the closet and living my life honest and openly. Drinking more water. I chose to stop watching porn. That stuff screws with your brain. I got a dog off of Craigslist. Any other time I would have kept scrolling. I don't know why I chose that particular dog, but I did. He had a nasty skin condition and was more expensive than I really wanted to pay. Again, I chose him. 8 years later, he's beautiful and healthy and has brought us nothing but joy and comfort. Trying at a time I had all the reasons to give up. Please never give up on something that you're passionate about. Going to university as a single parent. Really hard to balance everything. But hopefully being a positive role model for my kids. To stop caring about what others think. As cringe as it may sound, it solved most of my problems and made me infinitely more happy. As an 18-year-old, most of the people I'm surrounded by are too busy focusing on trying to impress others than improving themselves, succeeding and generally enjoying life. So yeah, you do you. People, because the irony is that people are too concerned about trying to impress you to notice you. I stopped smoking weed. Hear me out. I have nothing against people that smoke weed at all. I just realized that I started lying to myself to justify smoking, so at that point I decided I needed to change something. I also thought I could get all my schoolwork done whilst high and almost failed out of college my first semester. Realized that I wasn't getting the most out of life that I could because I was smoking all the time. Since I stopped, I've gotten only 2 C's in 2 years of school and have found myself feeling much healthier and happier. Making the decision to stop eating like a dumpster and lose weight. Today I hit 100 pounds lost. And I'm only 25 away from my original goal. Since I have started losing weight, I feel so much better and my life has coincidentally gotten a lot better as well. I got a better job. I got my first girlfriend who is an amazing person. And overall I am just a lot happier with myself and who I am. While in a tumultuous relationship, I chose to not be jealous or resentful towards my partner or anyone else. The biggest thing was realizing that it truly was a choice. When I felt jealous, I previously took it personally for no reason whatsoever, but felt so much more free, stable, and loving when I chose to not do that. It's carried over to a lot of other aspects of my life and has truly helped me to judge and take situations for what they are, allowing me to feel loved a lot easier. If you want to get nothing in return, you can like and join my Discord. There is a link in the description.